All right, friends. As well established, big week here in the desert proper. PGA Tour returns for the 64th playing of the American Express. Here to discuss as much. My guest this week, he is become this year the first Air Force Academy graduate to earn and hold a PGA Tour card that was preceded by his accomplishment in 2021, just down the way in San Diego, the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, first Air Force Academy grad to play not just in the U.S. Open, but in any of golf's major championships. That prefaced, we welcome Captain Kyle Westmoreland to the Spicer Speaking podcast. Hello, Kyle.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Do you like the captain? Do you like your name prefaced with the captain?
Sure. I'm former captain, right? I don't hold that title anymore, but that rank anymore. But I enjoy being part of the military while I could. So yeah,
Once you get out of the military, the title is evaporated.
unless you retire. So if you retire after 20 years from the military, then you keep it. But you know, it'd be like captain retired, right? But since I didn't do 20 years, I'm just a normal guy with a beard and you know hair is probably fine still, but beard is not.
Just another civilian.
Exactly. Trying to
All
chase
right.
golf balls around and make birdies.
So like when you get your mail, it doesn't have the captain on there, or in parenthetical, it could have like the RET retired. That's none of that.
None of it. None of it.
Okay.
Just Kyle Westmoreland and here's your bill.
This all coming, by the way, from a JROTC graduate. I went to a military high school, and I sucked in the military, Kyle. I wasn't good in military high school. Didn't really shine the shoes. Didn't shine the brass. Was not particularly good with the disciplinary element. I just didn't like being told what to do. Obviously, it seems to have worked for you, though, your military background. What was it about the military, whether it be the Air Force Academy or the subsequent 5+ years of active duty that you served? What was it that you enjoyed about that life?
I enjoyed a lot about it, but what I enjoyed most are the people that you get to meet, right? And whether you're good at the military stuff or not, you get to see a lot of really high performing people that are really impressive people, and you get to kind of be around those guys and girls, and try to aspire to be one of those, and work hard to try to whether it's gain rank or just succeed so it doesn't negatively affect the people around you, right? Like, I wouldn't say I was great in the military aspect of like the academy, the military side, the training piece. But I did well enough to where I didn't let other people down. And there was a few times I did, and those are great learning experiences for me. The self accountability that military teaches is untouched. And you just meet such great people. I think no matter where I went, good place or bad place, people are really kind of what make the experience what it is, right? And people are the greatest asset. So you kind of learn the ability to build a team. Golf's an individual sport, but you can't do it without a great team around you. Or if you do it without a great team around you, it's gonna take a lot longer. So kind of give me the ability to build a team, invest in those people, and yeah, it's propelled us to get here a little faster than we would have otherwise, I think.
We're now getting to some more golf-centric questions here in the not too distant future, but your background obviously is super unique and fascinating and has served you well. I trust you've been asked this before, and you kind of referenced them there, but what were some of the tenets, the characteristics of your time in the military that you've been able to carry over to your preparation to not just get to the PGA Tour, but now in your rookie season on the PGA Tour?
Oh, I mean, mostly it's just investing in the process, right? Golf's a marathon, not a journey, as they say. Um, but it's just trying to get better every day and be able to go back and do that after action report, as we call it in the military, right? And look at what you did, what you were feeling in the moment, how it how it came about, how it ended, how it transponded on the golf course, and then being able to take those lessons and create a game plan to try to get better where you need to get better and apply them so you can improve the next time, right? It's been so far this year on the PGA Tour, it's been awesome. I found myself like kind of on a lot of times, like kind of on or near that cut line, I haven't been able to get in the mix. So we're just gonna continue to push and get better where we need to get better, and create those game plans, right? And eventually it'll happen.
During those 5+ years of active service, how were you able to, I mean, you had a sterling collegiate career while playing for the Air Force Academy. I think you won 5 times. During the 5 years, 5+ years following of active duty, how were you able to stay in golf shape? How were you able to get your golf reps in?
Yeah, so I to be honest, I probably fell out of golf shape a little bit. But I played probably 3 or 4 Monday qualifiers this summer. Mondays worked great in the military because it's realistically it's one day off, right? And then the potential to be a full week if you make it through. And I was able to make it through a couple of those, but I was stationed in Charleston for 3 years and Charleston, South Carolina for 3 years. And my coach at the time was up in Myrtle Beach, Alan Terrell. So on weekends, I drive up there and just hang out for the weekend and play a lot of golf and practice and try to get better where we could. And Charleston being a warm weather spot, you can play year round. So that was a good duty station for me. And then my last 2 years, I went back to the academy, the Air Force Academy, to teach. And when I went back, I had it might have been it was dark outside, snowing, whatever, but we did have the facility that I went to college and was able to practice there in the evening times or the morning or whenever it fit. And so that was kind of a best case scenario transition for me going from just active duty time to playing full time, was to kind of go back to the academy and have those resources and be around coaches and stuff like that who would it kind of helped me get better throughout the process.
Provided your golf talents during that window of time, Kyle, was it ever a frustration for you? Did you ever get to the stage of thinking, oh man, I'm falling behind my playing peers of the same age? They're on the Corn Ferry Tour, they're on PGA Tour Canada, all places that you eventually played and did well. But during that 5 year window, you're like, I'm losing ground.
Oh, of course, of course. At the beginning, the first probably 2 or 3 years of that 5 years, I didn't watch a single hole of golf because I was like, man, this sucks. Like I'm not playing. I think I'm good enough to be playing out there, but I'm not. And we didn't know if I was going to have to they were going to defer my service time immediately after 2 years, or I was going to have to do the full 5 years. And they came back and determined, because golf is not a roster sport, that I would need to do the full 5 years, which is fine. That's what I signed up for, and I didn't expect anything less. But it was tough at the beginning to even to celebrate my buddies that peers that I grew up with, even to celebrate their accomplishments. Right, that was tough. But last couple of years, I started watching some more golf. I was rooting for guys like that I grew up and that I played against in college, right? I wouldn't call us like great friends, but I played against Xander Schauffele was in our same conference in college, and Bryson DeChambeau, just we got put together in a Jones Cup, and Jordan Spieth was a year behind me, but he had been doing it for a long time. So that he sailed, that ship sailed after like his first year in college, I think. So, but seeing those guys grow up, get better at golf, and then excel in the game of golf was pretty cool by the time I ended that service time. So I think that I'm at a point now, and I don't know what caused it. Maybe it's perspective change or whatever, but kind of celebrate when guys make it, and at the same note, now that I'm getting to play, I'm trying to push as hard as I can to get out there and win as well.
Want to again reference the 2021 U.S. Open, for which you qualified at Torrey Pines. Did quite well, made the cut, tied for 68th. In that experience, what did you learn about your game at that level of play, for that test of play among a playing field of that high quality? Making the cut, playing well, you got a lot of attention for even just making that U.S. Open. What did you learn about your game there, Kyle?
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to do better than that. If I could design a golf course setup, that I would want to play every week, it would be Torrey Pines in U.S. Open condition.
Hmm.
It's super long. Fairways were almost like too narrow, so it just became like a long drive contest a little bit, right? And there's some guys that were able to hit the fairways, but I wasn't gonna hit every fairway. So it was awesome. And it was a great proving ground, telling myself I can do it. And to be honest, I took a bad triple on the second day, and I felt like I should have been more in the mix than I was. 14, it was a nice missed fairway, hit it short of the green, chipped the ball like 15 feet past the hole, and it was like an unstoppable putt, right? And so it's like, oh, this is how people four putt, and the four putt's very possible. So I walked off that hole 3 shots higher than what I should have been, and there we go. Got beat up on Saturday, but Torrey Pine, I mean, it's just a great proving ground, Ryan. It's some the best players in the world are all playing, and to be able to compete with them was awesome, and beat some of them, right? But you know, wouldn't say we're satisfied with it. We want to do better and want to do better next time. But just for me, anytime I got to get out and compete against guys that are doing this, full time was awesome. And just more fuel for the fire, right? Saying that we can do this, we can compete with these guys, and doesn't matter if we're starting off at 22 or 28, right? It's all the same.
Friends, you're tuning into episode 73 of the Spicer Speaking podcast. Kyle Westmoreland, Captain Kyle Westmoreland, retired, is my guest this week as we ready for the 64th iteration of the American Express, taking place at La Quinta Country Club and host site dual courses at PGA West. I hope to see you there. Don't forget to get your tickets at theamexgolf.com. Kyle, you referenced the long drive contest. That is a particular part of the game in which you certainly excel currently thus far through the tour season. 10th, ranking 10th in driving distance at a shade over 313-yard average. Also in the top 10 in club head speed at well over 122 miles per hour average club head speed. Obviously a part of your game, and I can only imagine what you take great pride and what your game is kind of rooted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so full disclosure with driver, right? I basically play with three different swings. One's going to be like a 115 mile per hour club head speed, and it's kind of like a little chip driver. It works a lot, and especially courses that get a little tighter, or that are firmer and the ball's rolling a ton and it doesn't go very high. Second is it sits at about 188 to 92 ball speed, 126-ish club head speed, and that one's like our cruiser is what we say, and it's just a nice little cut. And then if we go out one, hit a draw, and go 97 to 202 ball speed, right? So and that only comes out like once or twice in a blue moon, right? And I think that driving's great, but it has to be like effective. And I think guys like Tony Finau, Cameron Young, Rory, they've all kind of figured out how to, have speed, but use it when they need to, and use it in the right spot. So that's been fun for me to kind of figure out how I want to play. And holes like places like Torrey where you're going to feed up high and you're going to extend it, because if you can get it over bunkers, it's a huge advantage. But places like La Quinta this week, it doesn't really do you a ton of benefits. So it's fun. And there's 3 different courses this week, and they are very different. So it'll be cool.
Have you had opportunity to date to get some prep time on all 3 courses?
I have. So I stopped through here on the way to Hawaii, and I played all 3 of them. And then after Hawaii, came back here to play 54 holes, and 54 practice holes before teeing it up in a 4-dayer is tough. So the last couple of days, I've just been practicing, played stadium both 9s, and then today I'm going to play La Quinta and call it good. The Nicholas course is great too. We'll drive around it, do some chipping and putting. And full disclosure, I hope I don't chip very much, but we'll do some work around the short game, work around there, and just kind of plot how we want to do it.
Referenced La Quinta Country Club a few times. That is where you will get your American Express underway on Thursday, 10th tee start, I want to say. I hope I don't screw you up with that. 9:25 AAT time alongside playing competitor American Trevor Cohn. The Kington Country Club scoring traditionally very, very low, shorter course by PGA Tour standards, certainly by your standards, but a little different animal than basically what players see on a week to week basis. What have you learned from your prep at La Quinta Country Club, and maybe you could share perhaps a bit of your tee strategy?
Yeah, so La Quinta's wall to wall overseed. Just meaning that there's rough, right? There's the rise through the green into the rough, and there is rough, right? At at Stadium Nicholas, it's not overseed, so it's dormant Bermuda, so not much rough, but basically my prep at La Quinta is there's a hole, there's a dog leg, and it's a dog leg, and hit your next shot close, right? Because La Quinta is really about your wedges. Are your wedges in good shape? Are your how is your putting? Can you make 15 footers, right? And I think that's where guys will separate themselves at La Quinta. There's a big separator on putting, this week. So at all courses, but La Quinta even more so. And for me, that the 2-3 iron will be in play over there. 3 wood. I'll have to really dial those in and spend some time on the wedges, but it's great. It's a great course to, it's a great course in general, and it's a great course to practice, right? You should be good from 150 yards and in, but that one will test you a little bit. Being in the
You ref
fairway, being in the fairway is key there.
Absolutely. And what I think I read about you, this could have been dated, is that do you carry a 1 iron?
Used to, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it said one. It was actually a 3 iron, but it was I guess if you take a 1 iron and bend it to a 3 iron, it takes the offset out. I don't know. That's
Okay.
what they say. So
Okay.
it was a 20-degree iron.
Okay.
Um,
But
so
fascinating
whatever.
to yeah. At La Quinta Country Club, it really is engaging to see what guys do off the tee box. I mean, it's just so different than again what you see on 95% of PGA Tour courses. But yeah, a lot of those mid irons or sometimes hybrids or woods, it's not taking out driver. I don't know. Some guys probably like 3 or 4 times they'll use their driver on that golf course. So just a different style of play, classic style of play.
Yeah, I mean, I played with Zach Johnson and Stuart Sink a couple of weeks ago, and that was an awesome opportunity. And they both hit drive around the place, but they're fitting drivers into smaller windows than I am. So, so they're credit to Zach Johnson. I don't know if he's missed a fairway in like 20 years. So,
And you referenced the two courses at PJ West. The Stadium course generally plays as the most challenging in the rotation. It's a course that mid amateurs like myself we generally struggle on because there's so much nuance. There's so many uneven lies. Is basically what you get a lot of at the Stadium course. I mean, for you now having had some ample prep time, it would seem you feel like you kind of figured out some of the nuance of the Stadium.
yeah, stadiums about the it's really about playing the par threes well, right? If you can get around the stadium and 12 shots on the par threes, you're going to be, probably picking up at least a half a shot on the field. Um, a lot of the chipping around the holes it kind of falls off, right? And then you're in like a valley chipping up, but kind of from a downhill lie. And it's really well designed. So a lot of bump and run style chips. And other than that, the par fives are great. 16's an awesome hole. It's you hit your driver out there and you try not to hit it left, right? And that second shot, kind of hitting it at the right edge of the green, and they're firm. Greens are in great shape. So there's some, stadium for me as a whole. If I had to give 2 sentences, it's play the par threes well and score on the par fives, and that's kind of what you do. I don't think traditionally, like, right, the scores are really low here, but I think that's because of I think it's mostly because Nicholas and La Quinta are in the rotation. So
Ask you lastly today, Kyle, whether it be here in your debut appearance at the American Express or perhaps something throughout your rookie season on the PGA Tour. If is there something, is there one thing? Could be a specific accomplishment, could be a lesson learned, could be somebody that you've always wanted to go head to head with, compete alongside, and improve yourself. Is It's one thing you want to take away from this rookie season. What might that be?
Yeah, I think it's just not, knowledge of the courses, knowledge of, accomplishments, right? So my goal in this rookie season, my goal in golf is to win, right? That's what I want to do. And we're going to push for that to happen. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, we're going to learn a lot of lessons along the way. And so far, that big takeaway for me is to go out there, play your game. Don't worry about what's going on around you. The PGA Tour is a traveling circus, right? So everyone's a great player, or everyone's great out here. There's just so much that goes on around it, and you can stay in your headspace and control your own emotions and be detached enough to make unemotional decisions. I think that's I would like to take away what I've done well this year, if I've done that well, or if I haven't, and then learn from it and keep going. Right. I want to get better. I want to compete with the best in the world, and I'm ready to be in the mix.
Kyle, certainly over the course of the rest of this week, I don't think I'm alone in saying hope to see you in the mix here at the 64th playing of the American Express. Thank you so much for your time. All the best to you in the tournament this week, sir.
Thank you very much. Can't thank you enough for having me.